Emma Raducanu back in the news. Actually, I'm not sure she's ever out of the news, saying she's back in the news.
Not here, not in the UK. I know we've got a lot of international listeners, but in the UK, she is not out of the news.
She isn't, is she?
Every week.
Every week there's something.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely huge. She's a phenomenon.
But this was very completely 100% tennis based, the latest news. Dmitry Tursunov, we believe, made the decision to part ways. And the other thing alongside this was Jez Green, who worked with Andy Murray for a long time, Sasha Zverev most recently. I think he's still working with Dominic Thiem, has been working with Emma Raducanu, and that's something we've talked about together on the pod. Lots of people have written articles about the fitness side of things, which I think alerted a lot of people when they saw the name of Jez Green alongside Emma Raducanu.
Yeah, well, Jez, incredibly experienced, did a fantastic job with Andy Murray, and then with Alexander Zverev, two very different characters, very different sort of athletes on the court as well, and really adapted his style, I think, between the two of them. Just hugely experienced. He's also, in between things, he's such a prominent figure within British tennis, of course. He's so respected. Yep. And, it is the sort of thing that, he is sort of around, especially if he would be in between jobs. He hasn't really. He's sort of just been on the tour for a while. But since he stopped working with Zverev, he is around, he is involved. And, I look at... It can only be a good thing getting somebody that experienced on the physical side for Emma. We've seen her rolling through quite a few coaches. Maybe the answers lie elsewhere, considering that, you can't learn to play on the tour if you can't play every match. You need to lose the tight ones. You need to come back from down. You need to fight through the niggles. You need all of that. It builds your resilience. It builds your confidence in any different situation that you can come through. And also, you just get more opportunities to play so that you can play more. You just need a high volume of matches to learn how it works. So if that is going to improve that, and I'm sure that Jez will do a fantastic job, then, hopefully that means that she can just be on court and be more often, more weeks, more tournaments, and playing these back-to-back matches without starting to really struggle. So, then she'll be able to learn about the tour. And coaches are brilliant and they're very necessary. However, especially tennis players with a high tennis IQ like Emma Raducanu, no one teaches you more than your opponent. That's it. They teach you more than anybody else. They will tell you when it's not good enough because they will slam it away for a winner. They teach you about the momentum. Oh dear, they teach you about the momentum in matches. We had a long day yesterday in Gijon. It was really long, guys. Very good. They were really good matches, but it was very long. But they teach you about the momentum, the energy, and all these sorts of things that really it is difficult to grasp if you haven't actually played and you haven't been in it. So I think that that's what she needs, is really to just keep playing, play more, be able to last in events and not withdraw.
You said that coaches are important and necessary. There are some exceptions who don't have a coach. It is the norm to have a coach. And when you don't have a coach, all the questions are about, why do you not have a coach? Could you see her... Does she need a coach? You talk about learning for your opponents, her IQ, her father's involved, she's got voices coming in. Is there a situation now at her age, what is she, 20 now, that she doesn't have a coach? Or do you feel she needs that constant presence with her on tour?
It's a really good question. And it's difficult to know. Of course, I'm not super close to the family at the moment. But you've just got to look at when she won the US Open. Yes, she had a coach in Andrew Richardson who did a fantastic job. And you cannot underestimate how difficult it would be to try and manage the player in that sort of situation. However, he had only been working with her for a few weeks. He was basically employed to just do the US Open stint and just sort of, can you come with me and be a companion and help me out with scouting and, make sure my rackets are strung and book some practice courts and do all the stuff that coaches do.
Worked out well, didn't it?
Outside of things. And she went and won the US Open. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I'm not saying she did it on her own. Andrew Richardson played a very, very important part. The part of a facilitator, which is really difficult to do. Do not get me wrong, a highly skilled position. But she didn't have a coach in terms of, I don't think that you can sort of, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? She didn't do it on her own, as I was saying, but she didn't do it with a team that she'd been working with for years who had all been building to this position. So, and I think also just with the way that we see her cycle through coaches, I think that just suits her better. I think she just knows what she's doing. She's in charge of her team. And it's always a funny thing, I think, particularly on the WTA Tour, but also on the men's as well, is who is driving the team. Because we often see that it's coaches driving the team. And really, the real success comes when it's the player driving the team. That's it. And the coach has their role and they are in charge of certain elements, but really it's the player saying to the coach, right, I need to know about this. What about this? If it's about scouting of your next opponent, what do they do here? When they're 15-30, where do they serve? What do they, as in, that's got to come from the player. We do see a lot, and it does tend to be a bit more common on the women's tour, and I don't like it, is especially when we had on-court coaching back in the day, where girls would sit there, or women would sit there at the change of ends, and they would not say anything and just be spoken at. And it's just not the way to get the best out of yourself. You need to be driving it. There are always going to be times in your career where motivation drops down, but ultimately, she's clearly the driving force. She's the one sorting it out. She's going to make tons of mistakes. So does everyone. Absolutely everyone. So would a coach if they were in charge, So, yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one to answer whether she should have a coach or not.
Well, we'll see how that one plays out. But Dmitry Tursunov, we believe he's taken up working with a player who's, I think, near to where he's based in California. And so they've parted ways. And we shall wait and see.